Hi, friends. Welcome to the Energy Independence Group show. We have Eric Baugh from Solaria Corporation here to talk with us, and we've been having some technical difficulties, so we're back live again here. We're surviving the coronavirus and internet connectivity issues. But Eric, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into the solar industry?
Sure, Les, I'd be happy to. And I wanted to thank you and Energy Independent Group and for being on your podcast. Looking forward to hosting you on my podcast as well. I grew up in Cache Valley, Utah. Played basketball. Came from a family of seven. Went on to the Air Force Academy, school at the Air Force Academy. 6 years active duty in the military. I'm a father. More than anything, I'm a father of five amazing, beautiful children. Married the girl of my dreams. So I'm really kind of living out kind of my ideal life here. So really glad to do that. So I worked in the military for 6 years, and then I transitioned out of the Air Force, active duty Air Force. I was in procurement and acquisitions. Went to worked as a defense contractor. So L3 Communications and ATK. And then my little brother was actually working at Vivint at the time, and he encouraged me to make the switch to come over to the renewable energy space. And so I've been in the renewable energy space for the last 6 years and have really, really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, we're really fortunate to have people like you who've served in the military for us and who've helped us keep our country safe and been on that mission. And I think the mission for energy independence for all is one that is very welcoming and very lucky to have you on. And so with regard to Solaria, who you currently work for and you carry that banner under, can you tell us a little bit about Solaria and what makes Solaria unique?
You bet. I'd be happy to. So Solaria, we're a U.S. company. We started in Taos, New Mexico 20 years ago, founded by a female. We then moved to Fremont, where there's excellent semiconductor experience. So been around 20 years. We started out making these really large-scale utility panels, and the market liked the panel, but the market ended up loving the tracking system. And so the tracking business took on a life of its own. Became Nextracker, was sold to Flextronics for $360 million. That was about 5 years ago. And then the company took that money and reinvested it with the goal of making the best solar panel in the market. They were looking to make the highest power, most attractive, best warranty product in the market. So that's Solaria in a nutshell. We have U.S. manufacturing, which is mostly used to make our demo panels, our R&D projects and stuff like that. It can make panels. It's a 50 megawatt line. And then we also have a line in Korea, actually, 4 or 5 lines in Korea that can do upwards of 500 megawatts. So really good capacity as a company, great company to work for.
Awesome. So some of the technology developments by Solaria are notable. Can you describe the solar panel itself and some of the key technological characteristics?
Yeah, you bet. So we do things a little differently at Solaria. We take a mono-PERC cell, we cut it into 5 strips, and then we overlay those strips such, and you can kind of see a panel here.
Nice.
We overlay the strips such that we get rid of any dead spots or inactive areas. So we're able to pack in 20% more material and get 20% higher power. So that's kind of the main difference of what we do. There's kind of 3 items that are really unique about Solaria compared to another panel. There's a lot of really good panels in the market, more now than ever. So it's really important to differentiate who we are compared to everyone else. I know you know that on the installer side as well, and the EPC side. So the 3 main differences are technology, aesthetics, and warranty. Technology, we shingle, we cut the cells, and we pack in more material to get higher power. We also are wired in parallel and series. So our panel's broken into 20 sections. Most panels are broken into 3 sections. Some of the newer panels are broken into 6 sections. Ours is broken into 20. So if you shade 3 of the 20 sections, the other sections perform at full power. So it's a technology, power, and shading benefit. It's an aesthetics benefit, really good looking all black panel. And then warranty, we offer 25-year workmanship, 25-year performance, and labor, which is, to my knowledge, is the best warranty offered to the entire public. A lot of companies have good warranties that are only offered to their best dealers. We're able to offer that to everyone.
Well, that's great. So shading seems to be something that the Solaria panel can handle better. And when you combine that with an AC module, can you describe an AC module and what additional benefits you have from an AC module?
You bet. I'd love to. So an AC module already has the power electronics included with the module. So our AC panel already has an Enphase IQ7 Plus attached to the panel. The benefits of that, it's safer on the roof. You do the install and the conduit runs down the side of the house are not as live. They're not as juiced. So it's a lot safer for folks walking around the roof than on a string inverter or an optimized string inverter. So it's a safer install. It's one SKU, so it's easier to manage from the warehousing perspective. It should be a faster install. Usually the first one takes a little more time because it's something new and unique to the company. But after they've done a few, it's usually a faster install. They don't have to attach the microinverter to the panel. And then it comes pre-tested, so you already know it works. You're not going to have those failures while you're trying to connect it at the house and move on to do other things, and you're having trouble getting connectivity from one of your micros. So I do think it's a better technology. I do think in the end, almost every panel will come with power electronics. That might be 2 or 5 years from now. But it's a great option. Our panel is a 365 watt AC panel.
Yeah, that's high up there on the wattage output. So what I'd also be curious to see is how everyone at Solaria is adjusting to the coronavirus, and if work is different or if things are moving along just like normal, or what kind of your perspective is there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel that we're probably affected similar to everyone else, right? Our team in California, I live in Salt Lake City, our team in California is currently sheltered in place. The manufacturing site is not running right now. We can get in and do a little bit, but really it's not running in California. In Korea, it's running at full power. For whatever reason, the Koreans have figured it out, and they're minimally affected by this whole thing. So from a production perspective, there's no decrease in any of our orders. They're still on time with lead times. We haven't had any delays, which is a good thing. But from the employees' perspective, we're all in the same situation. All of our calls now are Zoom calls or Microsoft Team calls. We're working from home. You've got the dog barking and the kids running around. It's kind of a little different situation. But so we're as affected as everyone else. I think we're trying to manage similar to everyone else as best we can. And it feels like it's been a couple weeks now of working from home for the entire team, and it feels like we're kind of catching our stride.
Right. Absolutely. So with regard to the coronavirus, do you see demand for solar decreasing or possibly increasing in the near future with the awareness that we have in terms of the importance of preparedness?
So I think initially there's going to be a slight decrease in demand, meaning right now. And that's because families, some of them have lost jobs. There's confusion around the current environment. There could be an initial lag for the next month, 2 months from all that's going on. Finances are a little up in the air. Ultimately, though, the great thing about solar is it saves people money on their electric bill. So ultimately, I think as people are going to step back, they're going to want to be more self-reliant. They're going to want to get their own system, a battery, all of that. So ultimately, I think it's going to help the market quite a bit. I don't know that we're going to see it this year from an industry perspective, but I do think in general, it's going to really help the market. I think a lot more people are going to inquire about solar after this, and a lot more people are going to go solar. So I think generally it'd be good for the market, but near term, it probably we're all struggling through that.
Well, it's good to get your perspective on it. And I can say that at Energy Independence Group, we had really good follow through with the last recession, so to speak. Hopefully we don't get too bad here. But what we noticed is, like you indicated, savings is very important at a time where cutting back or saving on the budget is important. And we have seen the savings from solar be very tremendous here in Kern County, where the market is hot and the climate is hot and the market for solar is hot too. But we're seeing an increased interest in general. The enthusiasm is greater than ever for safety, keeping the lights on, energy storage, and energy management. But in addition to that, we're seeing maybe a few less calls, but we're seeing the enthusiasm rate increase. I think what will happen is what happens in the past is people are going to be more interested in savings moving forward and the safety. So I think that I agree with you that we'll see an increase in the medium term, maybe a slowdown in the short term, but overall in the long term, this is a solar silver lining, as we're calling it. So a question I have is, are you going to see also some changes in the way solar is sold? Do you think this is going to impact the way solar is sold, for instance, person to person or maybe online?
Absolutely, Les. Absolutely, I do. I think people are realizing that you can have a conversation via Zoom, via Microsoft Teams, and you can have great rapport. You can share ideas and sell online. I think more and more people are going to start selling this way, which is going to be great for the industry. Some folks are going to be really challenged if they don't figure out an additional way to sell aside from whatever they're currently using. So yeah, I think theoretically, I mean, this whole thing is going to turn the industry upside down a little bit in how we interact and sell. But I agree with you that ultimately there's going to be a higher demand for solar, and it's going to be a great space to work in as an employee in the solar or renewable energy space.
Right. So you're used to, as a veteran, being in a battle, and we're facing a battle with an invincible enemy at this point. But I'd like to get, so as a veteran, you understand battles, and would you say that this battle is one that we will win?
That's a great question, Les. Yeah, I really do think we will win the battle. First of all, the United States of America is extremely resilient. We have a very resilient populace that's gone through a lot, relatively young country. So yeah, I mean, challenges continually hit America, and we are a really resilient group and a resilient people. So yeah, we will get through it. You know, we have people like you on the front lines of solar, Les. You've got great people out there working hard. So definitely we'll get through this. What's your opinion?
Well, my opinion is there's a silver lining. We're calling it the solar silver lining. It's kind of like people planting gardens, and it's kind of like all the good things that are happening. And as I think you've indicated before, we need to get past this crisis, and it is a struggle. But there is a silver lining to the struggle, and I see great opportunity in our industry and for the world to move along technology in a way that revolves around independence and sustainability and reliability. And so, do you have any thoughts on the solar silver lining?
Yeah, this is going to revolutionize how we do solar. You know, folks are going to do many more video calls as they close deals. Homeowners are going to very much, I mean, things that have been going on in California already with PG and other utilities, the fires, all that has created this desire in the homeowner to control their own destiny, right? To have their own power, have their own battery system, be able to persevere through another situation like this. So I definitely think there's a silver lining. For me personally, it's been a silver lining spending time with all my kids, which I normally would not have been able to do. Have all 5 kids at home all at once for a month at a time. You know, big time silver lining. You bet.
And your girls are pretty active, right? So you have some that are otherwise would be very busy and not together and not at the dinner table.
Absolutely. I've got my oldest is on the cheer team and she's on the golf team. My second oldest is a power tumbler. She state champion power tumbler. So it's killing her, not being able to run and jump on the mat and do all those backflips. And my son plays, would be playing baseball right now. He's going stir crazy. And then the other, the other two daughters, soccer, and then the 5-year-old, she's busy doing her own thing. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice that there has been a silver lining and that you get to spend time with them. We were talking earlier that, in 40 years, we'll be looking back and telling our grandkids about the coronavirus. And this has been something unique that I've never experienced in my 42 years. And so there is a silver lining.
Absolutely. So we like to ask people on the show, the Energy Independence Group show, is there something at this point in time that you could tell us, maybe a joke, something that's uplifting, maybe a favorite show? Got anything to add before we call it a good one?
That sounds great. Yeah. So the joke, I'll do a little bit of both. So the joke, if oil spills, if they have a huge oil spill, that's an absolute disaster, right? Mm-hmm. But when that happens in solar, it's called a really nice sunny day, right? The impact is much different. I appreciate you laughing at that. I'm not sure if it was funny or not. And then the motivational part of it is Hurricane Katrina, when it hit New Orleans, it devastated the city. And for anywhere from 2 to 6 months, businesses couldn't operate. People couldn't get power. It was a catastrophe. And yet the people in New Orleans, they rebuilt. All the small businesses reopened. People in general got back into their lives. This is kind of the United States Katrina. Like, we're going through something that is fairly devastating and extremely impactful, but we're going to get through it and we're going to be stronger because of it. So those are my thoughts.
That is great. I really like the analogy, and I appreciate your attitude. This is the kind of attitude we need to have to get through this struggle. And I appreciate your time, Eric. We have Eric Baugh from Solaria on today. And thank you for answering all these questions and entertaining us here for a little while as we're all on quarantine and we're spending time with our family. Thank you again for your time. And I would encourage all of our listeners to tune in every day. We're going to discuss energy independence, not just solar power, but anything related to energy. You can visit our website, eigsolar.com, and you can find us live on facebook.com/EIG Solar. And we'll be here every day to discuss this until this crisis is over, and then maybe we'll continue after. So again, thank you, Eric, for coming on. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to doing business with you in the future at Solaria.
Thanks so much, Les. Thank you to Energy Independent Group. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it.